Now going to head over to the States. This is Jeff Pulver, and you're listening to and watching Jeff's Place. This is a creation of our collective minds, if you will, because you've all entered a virtual coffee house where we're live. This is like a micro mini live Earth all the time, where everyone who's coming here is coming from different places around the world, both to perform and to watch and to listen and to connect. And what's truly magical is when you take a seat here. I always tell the artists to imagine you're walking into a coffee house called Jeff's Place, and that the stage you have to perform on is a small stage. Behind you is a 4-track mixer. There's a microphone in front of you. There's room for a guitar or a piano. The spotlight sometimes works, and in front of you are 50 wooden chairs, almost comfortable. And basically, what's magical though is everybody who sits down has a front row seat, and this is what's been co-created by everyone who's here right now. And I call this raw live music. It's music in its purest form. We may not be perfect, but we're perfectly real. And I thank all of you for being part of this experience. I do have to give a shout out to my sister Lauren and Harry for producing the show. To all the artists that have been here, will be here too. This is a dream, and through all this pandemic, being able to bring the world together and to appreciate life and to appreciate the magic that's shared and captured by the words and the song is beyond words. So I thank all of you for being part of this experience. I am grateful to all the artists. And this is just my very long-winded way of introducing Wes and Victoria. I am fans of their music, of the harmonica, of the songs, of the stories, and really, it's a collective effort. And so I'm handing the stage over to you. And by the way, your friend Paul is in the house. I see Paul Williams. I'm giving a shout out. It's been a while, Paul. Much gratitude and love to you. One day, I would love to have you as a guest. Not putting you on the spot or anything, just saying hello. Wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. And Wes and Victoria, how are you doing today? And you've been here all day. How are you holding up?
Doing great, man. It's been wonderful. And I feel like I've been to a 12-step meeting.
Well, the if you notice how I curated the show, the beginning part was I had didn't realize that in the beginning, but it all worked out, and then I curated the music to sort of blend into what you do. So yeah,
Well, thank you for orchestrating all that. I mean, the people have been spectacular. And before we start, I specifically want to thank David for all he's doing to help people. And Rosie. I know she's probably gone, but she was eloquent speaking about her journey. And it's just important that people know if they've got that hill to climb, that they don't climb it alone. You know,
right. No one is alone here. No one has to be alone.
yeah.
Well, that what are we going to be? So I should ask. I ask all the each of the artists who are your influences and what will we be hearing tonight.
Well, we got to start with my obvious influence, one of my dearest friends in the world, Paul.
Fair enough.
And I come from songwriting wise, I come from the storyteller folk tradition. Dylan, Towns Van Zant, who we had the privilege of sharing a stage with at one time. Donovan was mentioned earlier. We opened a show for him some years back. Just that storytelling tradition that Neil Young, Dylan, Chris Christopherson, another great wordsmith. We come from there, and Victoria's harmonica has been actually most influenced by a violin player who played on a record that Bob Dylan made named Desire, and a woman named Scarlett Rivera played violin, and she really picked up her original harmonica style more from listening to the violin lines. And
Wow.
and if you have that backstory, you'll hear that now when you hear her play. So that's where we come from. Where we're headed remains to be seen.
Well, thank you for being here tonight. I'm listening in awe and look forward to just taking it all in.
Oh, thanks, man. We're really privileged to be here, and it's wonderful to know you and Team Pulver. You know,
Thank you.
so we're going to get started with a classic American folk song by Victoria on harmonica. It's can't even find attribution as to who wrote this, and there's hundreds of versions. And now you're going to hear Victoria's, and then we're going to go into a song of ours called "Hard Thing to Kill," which I've got so many people online here tonight, and I want to send it out to all of them, but I especially want to send this to a young man named Robbie Hooker, who's struggling to deal with some cancer. And because the song is about your spirit being a hard thing to kill, we want to send an extra shot of a blessing out his direction and would appreciate that from anybody online. And that's for Beth and Harry. All right, kiddo. Now the sun brings a new day, all its distraction. Lord, you find out your words, they mean less than your actions. You swim against a tide that is not of your will, and you find out your spirit's hard thing to kill. Now it seems like your mind just gets broken in two. Lord, your highs and your lows, they'll distort what feels true. You know that there's holes in this world you can't fill, but you find out your spirit's hard thing to kill. Now hopes come and go, but your spirit remains. Lord, you're driven by dreams that don't even have names. Regrets and old sorrow that haunted your years, they get healed by the love of your spirit's sweet tears. Now your story gets told and your prayers, they're all said, but your soul's so much bigger than what's in your head. So we sit at life's table and life brings the bill. Lord, we pay with that spirit that life just can't kill. Forgiving yourself, man, that's part of this deal. When you find out your spirit's hard thing to kill.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I don't have a better word than wow, but awesome, special, like magical. You guys are just magical.
Thank you so much. You know, it's a real gift, and the timing of Thanksgiving's perfect. We're big on the giving part of Thanksgiving, you know, and both Vic and I feel that gratitude is best expressed as action.
Sure.
And so our music is a form of us just demonstrating our gratitude, just a heck for still getting to be here and do it, and the opportunity to be part of this global coffee house.
That's true.
Thank you.
So this next song, on the in true coffee house fashion, and you can't see it here on this image, but we actually have a dog curled up at our feet, so we really got the coffee house thing going.
Awesome.
Um, in true coffee house fashion, when you're doing open mics or coffee houses or those songwriter, song swaps that are so prevalent in Nashville, you always bring something you haven't played.
Right.
And so, a couple of days ago, I had picked up my guitar and I'd started to play the song I'm about to play, which I have not played in I can't remember when. Okay, and Vic is like, well, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna play? Let's figure out what we're gonna play." She goes, "You know the song we should play? This song, which she has not mentioned by name in God knows how long, ages." Okay, so Kismet, we're going to do this, and because so many guests have been talking about what's gone on in America in the past, 4 years really, but 30 days. The 4 years, previous 4 years, have been an extension of our darkest side. That's my opinion. Don't have to agree. But this song kind of touches on the need for unity. And I'll just play it. It's in the key of E. For those of you following along at home. Hello, my beauty. Here you've been hurting. Here you've been pulled to the left and the right. Everyone's certain they got all your answers. Always seen so far as a hell of a fight. Past is the past, but it's tied to the future. Future, it's present, just one day away. We may disagree, but there's one thing that's certain. The life that we're living is all gonna change. Now the daughters of daughters and sons of the fathers take up the causes, fly all the flags. Each generation offers up children to go fight its battles, then come home in bags. Past, it's the past, but it's tied to the future. Future, it's present, just one day away. We may disagree, Lord, there's one thing that's certain. The life we've been living, it's all gonna change. Now we still need some place for the dreams and the dreamers, the ones with the vision to dream the new deals. It's always the few that will dream for the many. It's always the many that make those dreams real. Hello, my beauty, time to start healing. Make the hard choices, lean into the pain. This ain't the first time, won't be the last time. It's surely our time to deal with this change. The past, it's the past, but it's tied to the future. Future is present, just one day away. May disagree, Lord, there's one thing for certain. The life that we're living, it's all gonna change. Life that we're living, it's all already changed.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was great. That was truly great.
Thank you. In true coffee house fashion, we have
Yes,
been doing that
yes.
forever.
Thank you.
So You have to just fling them out at the world and stick, and I'm just kind of fall off the virtual wall. So since Paul's on, I got to do this song. We'll do a little up tempo. I get to introduce a few more people on this call as a result of this song and tell a quick story. And this is for all you young songwriters out there, you know, trying to find a spot, you know. So I'm working on a project out of Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm writing a bunch of songs. I've written some songs for it, co-written more songs with a wonderful writer named Gary Boland, and tossing in some help on some production with the two principal producers of this record is a gentleman named Richard Boland and a guy named Boo Mitchell, whose daddy was Willie Mitchell, who produced all the Al Green records. And it's being recorded at Royal Studios, which is a famous, you know, if you want the Stax and the Memphis sound, this is the home of it. Okay. Now the version I'm going to do is very sort of country rock folk, because that's what I do. The version that's going to be coming out the better part of a year from now is got a lot more Memphis in it. Okay. But this song, the quick setup for this song, I don't want to talk my whole set away, and I'm perfectly capable of that, is I co-wrote this song with Paul Williams. And I want to play it because he's on the Zoom today. And so, but the story behind it's really beautiful. And the truncated, really brief version of the story is I showed up at his house at his invitation to write, which was wonderful and a little bit daunting, being the unknown, you know, let's just say anonymity, which I know all about from the 12-step world. I've taken it to extremes when it comes to my career. But so I show up to write with Paul, and he greets me at the door, and he's like, "Hey, great news, Sting. I just got off the phone with Sting." And I'm like, "Well, you know, as you do." And so he says, I'm in the Songwriter Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's fantastic, Paul." Oh, I mean, I love this man so much, and he's such a brother to me. And it was just pure joy for me to hear that. And I'm going to go write songs with this guy now. And so he knew this. I mean, he's a smart and intuitive human. So he hauls me into his living room and he sits me down before we get ready to write. And he pulls out a little leather-bound book and he says, "Hey, turn back a page or two and look at the names on this book." And I look, and there's a date and it says Carole King at the top of the page. And there's a song written in there. And then I turn back a few more pages and there's a name. It says Burt Bacharach, and I see a song written in there. And then he says, "Now turn to the most current page." And I turn to the current page and my name is written in the upper left-hand corner.
Wow.
And he looks at me and he knew what I was thinking. And he's, you know, this is the generosity of spirit that I think what your efforts are trying to provoke. And this is an example of that generosity of spirit. And Paul looked at me and he said, "Your name's in the book because it belongs in the book. Let's go write a song." Can't get more welcoming into the opportunity to write with somebody than that. So I want to tell all the writers and all the creatives and anybody doing anything, when you find yourself in the room, you're in the room because you're supposed to be there. So be all the way in the room. Just be all the way in. And we find it's best to make our mistakes at full speed, which we will probably do on this song. But this song is going to come out. It's got some wonderful people working on it, and it's called Brand New Heart. Whew, worn out from talking. Now I got to sing. Always been a loner, though I've had my fun. I never said I love you, never found a one. Wasn't even looking, you snuck up on me fast. I knew when I first held you, I'd found love at last. I got a brand new heart, never been broken, full of I love yous, never been spoken. We're dreaming lovers' dreams, making making them all come true. I got a brand new heart, and I've been saving it for you. Had a reputation, yes you did, for quickly moving on. Yes, you'd love them and you leave them before they know you're gone. I somehow get the feeling your rambling days are through. It happens when you touch me. I feel that change in you. Yeah, you got a brand new heart, never been broken, full of I love yous, never been spoken. We're dreaming lovers' dreams, we're making them all come true. I got a brand new heart, and I've been saving it for you. Now love's an invitation to start your life again, a perfect celebration that doesn't have to end. I got a brand new heart, never been broken, full of I love yous that never been spoken. We're dreaming lovers' dreams, we're making them all come true. I got a brand new heart, and I've been saving it for you. I got a brand new heart, and I've been saving it for you.
Wow. Wow.
Salute, my amigo, Mr. Pablo, out there in Cyberville. Okay, now let's get really weird on you. No, this is key of voice. You're gonna play in the key of voice because you're gonna help me sing on this one.
Right,
I'm just being a smart ass, better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Okay, so years ago, and I'm teaching for you and Team Pulver and Pulver EDU. And one of the parts of the origin story of what I'm going to be teaching comes from the years I was apprenticed to these native elders. And I did a ceremony called a Sundance, which is not a film festival. It's where you dance and pray for others for 3 to 4 days with no food or water, and your concentration of your intent is entirely on the healing of them and the world in general. Very powerful, and I was very privileged to be from outside this culture, invited in to become part of that culture to the degree that anybody could. That's probably the best way to say that. So when you do that ceremony, you get up and you sing the song, and they sing the sun into the sky every morning, and it's a beautiful way to greet the day, and you're also just so damn grateful you're still alive. And so this song I'm about to play for you is based on that sunrise song that's done at the beginning of that. This is done with the approval of the elders who taught me their ways. It's called What's in a Name. I pray to Creator, you pray to Father God. What's in a name? What's in a name? You obey commandments, I obey sacred law. What's in a name? What's in a name? Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-yo-way. Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-yo-way. You seek pardon and confession. I sundanced for my sins. What's in a name? What's in a name? Your reward, it's life eternal. Mine is new life, death begins. What's in a name? What's in a name? Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-yo-way. Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-yo-way. It's on earth as it's in heaven, as above as so below. What's in a name? What's in a name? I will pray you walk in beauty. Will you pray I do the same? What's in a name? What's in a name? Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way. Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way. I cry for a vision, you cry at your wailing wall. What's in a name? What's in a name? Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way. Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way. Pray to the Creator, you pray to Father God. What's in a name? What's in a name? Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way. 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 Hi-ya-ay-ya-ay-oh-way.
Wow. What's in a name? Wow.
Yeah, we got a lot more in common than we do have in separation, and just want to keep making music that points people towards that. What do you think? Do we got time for two more? I don't want to overstay our welcome.
Absolutely. Take it. Yes.
I want to. I'm starting to suffer from harmonica withdrawals, so key of G.
Okay.
This next song I wrote for a dear friend of mine who he was kind of on the exit ramp, if you know what I mean, and we were talking about the way that, you know, oftentimes we recognize ourselves in other people through struggle, you know, through a brokenness. We see ourselves reflected in others, and our empathy and our compassion goes out and it hooks to that. And from that common ground of shared suffering, we find a way to build something beautiful. And so I wrote a song that I'm about to play, and I did a little demo, sort of like recording on Zoom, just with a camera. And I got a call about, I don't know, a couple of years later. Somebody saw it on YouTube. A friend of mine saw it on YouTube, was working on a movie that Sony Pictures was going to release called Abel's Field. And the short story is about, I don't know, 5 months later, I was standing on a red carpet at Paramount Studios for the premiere of this movie that had my song in it.
Wow.
And not only did it have my song in it, but they liked the version, just the raw, sort of the coffee house version of the song that I had done so much that they literally just lifted the audio off the YouTube video and put it in the movie. They said they tried to record it with orchestras,
Amazing.
and it just didn't have the feel. So it ends up being sort of the closing final scene of resolution. It's the song underneath that. And then I'm going to play it for you now. And I just love hearing Vic play harmonica on it. And it's called Broken Angels. I went up to heaven. Lord, I took a look around. I was searching for perfection. I'll tell you what I found. Everywhere I looked, in everyone I saw, broken angels, broken angels, broken angels. So I went down to a tavern just to see who I could find. I was searching out some companions who might help me through this time. And everywhere I looked, Lord, and everyone I saw, broken angels, broken angels, broken angels. And everybody learns to fall apart. The feathers fray, the wings they weaken, Lord, halos fade on broken angels. I looked in the mirror just to see who I could see, and I saw my own reflection. It was staring back at me. So I looked me in the eyes. That's when I learned how to forgive. Broken angels, broken angels, broken angels. Man, you look this life right in the eyes, and you gotta learn how to forgive. Broken angels, broken angels, broken angels.
Wow. Yeah, I also had harmonica withdrawal, I have to say. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's magical too. It just brings you places.
Oh, thank you. Good places, we hope.
Yes, beautiful places, safe places.
Oh, safe places. That's the deal. You know, I think the most, you know, for all our ambitions, and here I'm waxing philosophical, but, you know, I do that. Wax on, wax off. You know, I think one of the most noble things anybody can be in life is a safe place.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to end up, and I think it's kind of, this last song is it's a song called Liberty, and it's taking it's got some cool harmonica. Don't worry. Huh?
I can do graffiti.
You want to do? We have to. You got to ask the boss man if we got time.
Two more?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to end with Liberty then. So we're going to do this other song first.
I really had it set.
Okay. Well, you know, look,
I
Victoria.
know how it goes. Just do it. Go
Victoria
for
and I have been together a long time, and one thing I have learned in life is don't piss off the harmonica player. It's in the key of A. I know everybody at home is fascinated with knowing what key these songs are in. I'm also playing in an open G tuning if you want all that detail. Real quick story on this. I was staying up late listening to the late, great Art Bell doing his overnight coast-to-coast crazy radio ramblings. And this guy comes on and he's proposing that he's this physicist and he's got this theory that there is no gravity, which I'm sure Hawking and Einstein and all those guys would really be thrilled to hear. And he comes on and he's saying, yeah, there is no gravity. And his theory was we're all just falling through space at different speeds.
Oh,
and the songwriter in me went, there we go. I am going for that one. So that is where this song, that's where it came from. But it's really, like so much of the program today, it's really rooted in in a spiritual sense, that we may all right now during this crazy time be falling through space at different speeds, but wherever we're falling to, there's a soft landing underneath it, and there's something there that's holding us up, so we're not falling maybe as fast as we think we are. And that's what this song is. So here we go, No Gravity, for the harmonica player. There is no gravity. We all just fall through space at different speeds. There's no destiny. We just drift along from need to need. There's a spirit underneath it all. It gives us wings whenever we all fall into the mystery. Lord, there's no gravity. There's no coincidence. There's only rendezvous with incidents. And your inheritance, that's learning choices, they're not accidents. And finding faith in something we can't see. Well, that's the price we pay for falling free, 'cause there's no gravity. There's no gravity. And there must be a reason why that we're still here when we could fly. Yes, there must be something more to give, little bigger way to live, a clearer way to see. Oh, there is no gravity. We all just fall through space. We all just fall through space. We all just fall through space, we all just fall 'cause there's no gravity. Lord, there's no gravity. There is no gravity. We all just fall through space at different speeds.
Wow. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. If you're feeling lightheaded, maybe that's why.
Yeah, it almost brings you into a trance. It's
Your speed of falling through space has just been readjusted. That's what's
exactly.
Okay, key of D. We'll close with this song. It's a song about a journey, and many of the people. A shout out to my friend who is literally a national treasure in the country of Croatia, Ksenia. And everybody, so many people have showed up for us today on this, and It'd take me the next 15 minutes to read all the names. I just want to say thank you so much and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And many of you will see yourself in this journey, I hope, if I've done my job. And with that, I'll play the song. Now I heard of a woman, her name it was Liberty. I wondered if she was real. When I was a kid, I heard stories about her. I wondered how her love might feel. Well, I heard that her beauty was worth more than any one man was prepared to defend. And I wondered if I could ever grow up to be worthy of Liberty's hand. Now time it went by, I forgot all about her, and I wandered and rambled through years. Well, I spent my youth in a selfish rebellion. Instead of my freedom, found fear. Then I turned alone into some kind of lonely that nothing and no one could touch. And I found out that nothing means more than just empty, and nothing hurts you so much. Well, now it wasn't easy, but somehow I managed to lose any hope that I had. I don't know why, but before things get better, sometimes they just have to get bad. And just when I finally gave up on everything, I saw sweet Liberty's face. Who'd ever dream I'd meet her at that very dark bottom of my fall from grace? So I stood before her in broken humility, so ashamed of what I had become. But she didn't turn away, she only held me. Suddenly, I felt so young. I asked her if I could stay with her, even though I felt quite sure she'd refuse. But she only said, in the kindest of whispers, we all get the life that we choose. So if you see Liberty, please tell her I love her, 'cause I'm still out here on the road. And I do believe she's the fairest of beauties, and many a soul have I told. Stories of my journey down into darkness, and all I just had to lose, so I could get to that place where I finally let Liberty teach me to choose. All right, kid.
Wow.
Thank you. That's Victoria. I'm Wes. I write this stuff. And
But we have a request for an encore from your friends Richard and Maxine for Billy Saigon.
oh my goodness,
Okay, suck it up for this one.
I gotta suck it up for this one. Okay, well, all right. So I got
There's a story.
There is a story. Of course, there's a story.
There's
Of course there is.
Story to everything. Some better left untold, but back in San Antonio, Texas, when I was coming up, I delivered freight for a while for a living because, you know, that's what musicians do when they don't have enough gigs. They find things to do to keep the roof over their head. There were these two guys on the loading dock every Friday afternoon. They had served in Vietnam and they'd been about 40 kilometers apart and never met, but they met at this freight dock. And every Friday at about 4:30, they'd sit on this freight dock and ice cold beers would come out and the storytelling would start. And I was just this kid and I'd sit there and I'd listen to all these stories and they would tell exactly the same stories in exactly the same way with exactly the same phrasing. Every Friday, I got to where I knew right when they were going to say, and then, okay. And so this really struck me, this brotherhood forged in trauma and trial and combat. And the other part of this song is a guy that used to live, he lived by this guy named Lyle.
Lyle. Yeah.
Lyle, man.
Wow.
Lyle was cool.
Yes.
But Lyle was a former sergeant and he served in Vietnam and a lot of trauma had happened to him. And he had decided to adopt Victoria and I, and he was our protector, and nobody could come by this little house we lived in San Antonio without getting past Lyle first. And like one night at 2 a.m, my brother knocks on the door of my house because he's going to surprise Big Brother. And before I can answer the door, he hears this little behind him, and he turns around, and Lyle's got a .45 service automatic pointed at him. My brother's going, "I'm Wes's brother," and all Lyle said is, "You better be." And Lyle was amazing, and one of the things that Lyle did is
this is an extraordinary.
This is an extraordinary story. Lyle was the last of his platoon was in critical care at a place in San Antonio called Wilford Hall, and this meant they were terminal. They were not going to make it. And Lyle had hair much longer than mine, and loved his long hair. And one day Lyle came in with a buzz cut hairdo, and then Lyle in his VW microbus, think 1968 but without the peace signs on it, had disappeared. And Lyle came back about 10 days later, and we got the whole story. Lyle had cut his hair, gone and got a cleric's costume from a Halloween costume shop, walked into Wilford Hall and checked out all his guys on a pass and driven them 150 miles down to the Texas Gulf Coast, where he took them swimming and partying on the beach.
Oh, wow.
Because within 6 months, every one of these guys was gone. That was Lyle.
Yeah, tell him about the guy that was.
Well, okay, I wasn't going to throw this part in. It's tasteless, but I'll
it's-
throw it in, and then I'll play the song.
passion.
But it shows you the sense of humor of these guys. So one of the guys was a
No arms and legs.
no arms and legs. And they put him in his wheelchair, and they tied all these ropes and harnesses around his wheelchair, and they'd run it out to the end of the dock, and then they just push it off the dock. And they just pushed this guy off the dock into the Gulf of Mexico. And then they pull his rope up so he wasn't underwater, and he would come up going, "Awesome, do it again." And he would say, "You know, Sarge, this is the first time we've ever been on a beach together where nobody was trying to kill us." It was just a very moving story. And so the song Billy Saigon blended together those stories and one other story, which will become apparent when I play the song. And the last little piece of the story is a few years back, I get this email saying, "We'd like to put your song in a Vietnam-themed compilation. And the artists in this compilation that we have the rights to put their songs in are songs by Bob Dylan and John Lennon and Bruce Springsteen and Pete Seeger and many of the people that got mentioned on your show today." Yeah. And I thought it was a prank, but it turned out to actually be real. So if you ever find a big compilation box set out of Bear Records in Germany called Next Stop Vietnam from the Country Joe and the Fish song, you'll find me on disc 11, I think, right next to the boss.
Wow.
And without any further ado, I will see if I can get through this song. Thank you. I need the cheerleading. This one's, thanks, Richard. Back in 1968, war was in the air. Flowers all had power, kids all swore they cared. Billy's lucky number came up in the lottery. Won himself an all-expense-paid trip across the sea to Vietnam from Uncle Sam. Why, thank you, ma'am. Now on his tour of duty, Billy met a Saigon whore. Billy got her pregnant. She gave him a baby boy. But Billy had a girl back home and he'd asked for her hand. Little Asian babies weren't a part of Billy's plan. Yeah, Billy left them both for dead like they were Viet Cong. Billy came back to the world, he found his girl was gone. To make her stand against Vietnam and Uncle Sam. Well, years went by and Billy tried to put that past behind. Sometimes at night he'd swear he dreamed he heard a baby cry. Billy sat up sweating and he'd stare into the night, looking for some shadow moving like a firefight. So Billy went to Washington and he stood there at that wall and he cried for every name of every brother he'd watched fall. And as he stood there looking, 2 names he couldn't find. Name of that young Saigon girl and kid he'd left behind. 'Cause Billy left them both for dead like they were Viet Cong. And Billy came back from the world and found out he'd been wrong. About Vietnam, about Uncle Sam, about lots of things. Well, he dug up some old photos, bought a ticket for a plane, headed for that city that they now call Ho Chi Minh. And Billy, he spent a month or so just chasing after ghosts. He found out that his memory still guarded its post. His last night there in Ho Chi Minh, he went out for a walk. He saw a woman and a young man in a restaurant. Now Billy recognized her even after all the years, so he prayed to a God he damned to help him with his fear. 'Cause Billy left them both for dead like they were Viet Cong. And Billy came back from the world, he found them in Saigon, in Vietnam. Now Billy looked straight at her as he walked into the room. She wouldn't look at Billy, she just swept up with her broom. The young man said to Billy, he said, "Hey there, Uncle Sam, I'm sorry, but it's closing time. You need some help, American." Billy fought to find the words his feelings couldn't show. He looked at that woman, but her eyes just told him no. Young man said to Billy, as Billy started for the door, he said, "Hey, my dad was American, but he died in a war. 'Cause she had left Billy for dead like he'd been Viet Cong. She'd raised her son up to be honest, to be strong. In Vietnam, no Uncle Sam, no thank you, man." Billy took a look at her before he walked away. Could have sworn he saw the smallest tear run down her face. Billy knew that there was no way that he could repay. And Billy knew her secret, it was too sacred to betray. So Billy took this medal out that he'd won for the war. He rubbed it on his sleeve one time, then he gave it to that boy. He said, "I knew your father, son, when he was just your age. This was his, and now it's yours." Then Billy walked away. 'Cause Billy left that past for dead like it was Vietcong. Billy got back to his life to make right everything that was wrong. About Vietnam, about Uncle Sam, about lots of things. That's the Ballad of Billy Saigon.
Oh my God! Wow. Lauren, can you open up Paul's microphone? We were talking about Paul the whole afternoon. I figured he could say hello. Oh my God. Well, I think I got to keep that composure, Wes. Oh my God, what a powerful song! It's like my Alice's restaurant.
Yeah, it's kind of got that storytelling.
Oh my God. Could Paul? Could you, if you want to be unmuted? I don't know if you would like to say. Yes. I don't know how to unmute. All I can do is ask to unmute. Maybe it's space bar. How do you do it, Lauren? Oh, you're muted too, Lauren.
The space bar could help.
Paul, I just want to. I don't know.
It says ask to unmute.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. I think I just got unmuted.
Hello.
Jeff, what a wonderful thing to be doing. As Wes pointed out, I mean, this is just a gift, and there's so much good music, and then tucked in amongst that is something like Billy Saigon, you know. And Wes and Victoria and I and Richard and Max, there's so many people on here, Joseph, that we know each other from another outside issue. I'm wearing my Half Measures Availed Us Nothing t-shirt, which will mean something to some of you. But we've known each other for so long, and I'll tell you, there's something that has changed in my hearing, because I've heard some of these songs, and I've heard Billy Saigon before, but I never heard Billy Saigon. And I don't know if it's a matter of, you know, we kind of get caught by our own egos and we're listening through that, or what it is, or the world is jabbering at us, whatever. But when I sat here and listened to Billy Saigon just now, I think it's one of the most brilliant songs and one of the most amazing, accurate stories I've ever heard in a song. And I think it's a song that belongs to everybody that went to Vietnam. I got under 100 pounds to not go to Vietnam. They said I was going to be a tunnel rat if I went over there, and I went, oh my God, what are the minimums? They said 5'2" and 100 pounds, and I said, Jesus, I know they said 5 foot and 100 pounds. I thought just under 5'2" I was going to make it out. But I have to tell you, that's magnificent. Wes and Victoria, it's spectacular. And Wes and I have a connection that, as I say, in this other world, this magnificent healing organization that has helped us put our lives back together. And the essence of what I've got from Wes for the last 29 years, 30 for me, 29 years for Wes, is every other thing that he says about God and giving, and that elegance of kindness. I give him credit about 3 times, and then I use it, because what pours out of his soul is a unique guidance that just doesn't have a bit of authority to it, because it is all just that heart. There's none of that. There's not a preaching element in anything I've ever heard him say. So congratulations to everybody here, and you know, as incidentally, all those names in the book that I showed, says a lot that I showed the book to Wes 29 years ago or whatever. But most of the songs in that book were not recorded, you know, but with the fact that back then we wrote a song that just got recorded is because he went on and did the work. So he's a pretty good publisher too. Anyway, God bless all of you, and thank God for music.
Thank God for music is right. Well, thank you, Paul. And Wes and Victoria, thank you so much. We have one final guest for today's show who's waiting in the wings, who has a special story. And I'm going to head it over to him, because I could talk to you guys all night long.
Well, we'll do it again sometime.